Kayleigh, I read the third issue of Epic Illustrated, a Marvel magazine released in 1980. New Dimensions, an adult fantasy and science fiction featuring Michael Moorcock's The Dreaming City. The first thing I read from the magazine was this little overview of the story, ELRIC, The Dreaming City. I found it interesting because I like Lord of the Rings, and that's what it's based off of. However, I didn't end up liking the story very much. Also found it interesting that he was in Kohan, which is something I've read previously, so it was like a cool connection. The first story I read, ELRIC, A Tale of ELRIC of Melbourne, The Dreaming City Part 1. I loved this part. Like, the colors and the artwork is very beautiful. I personally like light colors a lot, and I think it looks like it would be a poster. That's what I think. Like, I feel like it was intentional too, like to try to draw you in and make you more interested. Yeah. Then you get to like the first page, and in this part, they're waiting for ELRIC, and they're talking about like whether or not they can trust him. I really like the first panel and the way that they showed light. I think that's very cool and very pretty. However, like, the writing is just not very interesting to me. It's kind of bad, and they unnecessarily bold words, which it just wasn't good. I also do like the way that they showed the fireplace and the darkness in this panel too, and only showing his eyes. That's very cool. The art is very pretty and like very bright, which makes me more interested in looking at the artwork as opposed to the words. Then they do this panel showing like the faces of the people. I think they kind of look like caricatures, which is just something I noticed. And this guy, totally random, looks like Benjamin Franklin a little bit, but that was something that I noticed too. And then they talk about this one guy, Yannick, I think that was his name. He does not trust ELRIC, but honestly, the words, the way it was written, how everything was bolded, didn't make me care as to why. It was kind of bad writing. Like, I think they were trying to appeal to like adults, but it's written childishly. Like, they were trying too hard to be mature, kind of. Then ELRIC comes in. Again, I like the colors a lot. I like the artwork a lot, but I just didn't like the writing. The story is not very interesting. Like they're just talking about him over and over again, and they're kind of repeating the same stuff about him. And there's a little contradiction here in the panel of his face that like oddly bothered me. They say that he is like fine-featured, youthful looking, but if you look at like the way that he's drawn throughout the entire story, it's not youthful at all. It's like wrinkly and old. Then he gives a little bit like a backstory about his past. The colors, again, the artwork, very cool, very pretty. I feel like I like the contrasting colors of his cape and his outfit. That you can tell that he's supposed to be like the main guy in the story based off of that. Yeah. Another thing about words that I didn't like the way it was written, it's just a little thing that bothered me, is like I refer to my cousin and his sister. You could say both of your cousins. Like, it's unnecessarily wordy throughout the entire story. It could be streamlined so you could see more of the artwork, but it's not. This panel is so pretty. It's just so interestingly like designed. Like, there's so many different spots you can look at, and it kind of like gets across like how the kingdom that they're talking about, the Dream City, like used to be good, and then it's like a downfall. You see it like fall apart at the bottom of the page. Let's see. The lighting again. I love how this artist does lighting and plays with light and colors. They really like shading a lot, and that's something that I enjoy when I look at artwork too. So it's very well shaded. This part, however, story-wise, I just did not care. The art's very pretty, but like again, the story's just bad. He disappears, and I didn't care where he went or why he left because they didn't give me anything to care about. I feel like, yeah. This panel's cool though. He's like just appearing from the smoke. It's well drawn. Again, like this page would be so much more interesting if it was less full of words. They're kind of explaining stuff that's drawn on the page that's like kind of inferred in the story and unnecessarily like put into words. And unnecessary words bolded that don't help the sentence at all. Like for example, on this page, it goes like, and he begins to speak in a sibilant monotone. Emphasizing the word speak does not change the sentence at all. It's just unnecessary. However, the art, again, is so cool. That's so cool. That, like, I feel like this whole, like, comic book expert could be, like, a post on several posters. It's very detailed. And this panel is just covered in words over here, which is annoying to me. I enjoyed this page a lot because of the vibrancy of the colors. And it's just artistically interesting the way that like the lightning bolt's coming out of his mouth. It's cool. And yeah, that was that story. I quite enjoyed the artwork, but I did not enjoy the actual writing of it. Even though I do like Lord of the Rings, which is based off of, which is very interesting. Then I read Metamorphosis Odyssey. I didn't follow it very well, probably just because I hadn't read the first editions, but I did, again, enjoy the artwork. Throughout the magazine, the artwork is very beautiful. I like how it's very interesting, like it's not a lot of like hard lines outlining it. It's very like rendered, I think that's what it's called in the art style, which is very cool to me. But too many words, and it's like unnecessary words, which take away from the cool artwork. Yeah, I loved the bright colors again. It feels like it's from another world, which it is in the story, so it's very helpful. Reminds me of Star Wars, like the ships. Also reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy in the way that the glasses are kind of like Star-Lord a little bit. And the thing with his eyes oddly reminded me of X-Men. He's like shooting. He's shooting him. Reminded me of Cyclops. I think that's his name. The art's very cool though. The colors, the artist chose such bright colors that make you feel like you're like in outer space. It's very cool. But I did not care about the words that they were saying. I just genuinely didn't. This is another part that reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy. Just his mask, and then the way that they're like walking in. And I did enjoy how he died, which I know was odd, but like getting shot, that was good. That was good. Wrap it up? Okay. Overall, I liked the outline, like the formatting of the magazine a lot, and the stories.